Hi, I'm Lindsay Bugby from the Postman's Knock, and today I'm going to show you how to create calligraphy with art masking fluid. Now, art masking fluid is a liquid latex solution that is often used in watercolor painting because watercolorists never know exactly where their paint is going to go. So sometimes you want that insurance that you have an area that is masked off. So enter the art masking fluid. But for our purposes, we can actually apply it to a pointed pen and use it for calligraphy. Now, if you want to create art masking fluid calligraphy, what you're going to do first is shake up your art masking fluid. You can get this at any art supply store or on a retailer like Amazon. Unscrew it and then go ahead and pour it into a jar with a screw top lid. So you can just continue to store it like this for as long as you want to. Has a little bit of a funky smell, but it's worth the look. All right, so then you're going to want to source some sort of paper that is an interesting color. So not traditional, not black or white, but something like this green, this avocado green is very cool. And then I like to use Sumi ink for brushing over the art masking fluid. You can use whatever ink or paint you want, just make sure that it offers a strong contrast to your paper that you've chosen. And then go ahead and get out a Browse rose nib. I know that the rose is an intermediate nib, but this is an intermediate technique, and in order to use it, you need to make upstrokes that aren't super thin. So the Browse rose is a really good choice. And of course, use the holder that you are most comfortable putting the Browse rose in. And then the last thing you're going to need is a large paintbrush, size 6, size 7, size 5. Those are all really good choices. When I'm working with art masking fluid, I like to use a very casual calligraphy style that doesn't require any pencil draft or guidelines. And the reason for that is at the end, I don't want to have to erase pencil guidelines because you can never be absolutely certain that your ink or your paint, whatever you've painted over the art masking fluid with, is not going to bleed into those negative areas. That's a risk you can try taking if you are really married to having a pencil draft. But otherwise, just go ahead and don't do a pencil draft. And then just dip the pen in the art masking fluid just as you would with ink, because this is your ink for the day, and begin to write your address. The nice thing about masking fluid is you can see where it's going because it's got kind of this yellow creamy color. So it's pretty easy to see where you've already written. And make sure that those upstrokes are nice and thick. Of course, your downstrokes are going to be the thickest, but you want some upstrokes that will have enough heft that they will be able to be seen. And as this dries, you'll notice you're no longer able to see it. That's normal. It dries clear, so when it is clear, you know that it's dry. And continue to write. I am going to speed up the video so you don't need to watch this in real time. And just a quick timeout. Of course, you're going to dip into cleaning water as needed, just as though you were writing with everyday ink. All right, then once you're done, you're going to want to wait for everything to turn clear. And while you wait, go ahead and swish your nib off in cleaning water and then wipe it clean with your cloth, and you're done with the nib. I have gotten the question, well, is this going to damage my nib? No, just make sure that you wipe it all off per usual and you'll be fine. And then go ahead and close the lid on that art masking fluid, and it's going to be ready to use again for another piece of calligraphy. When you want to use it again, just be sure to stir it or shake it first to incorporate everything. If you wait just a couple of minutes, all of your masking fluid is going to be clear, and I'm sure you can see this masking fluid dancing in the light here. That means that it is ready to be painted over. And this is the fun part. So I like to take Sumi ink, and then I just dip my size 6 or any large paintbrush in there and paint over the masking fluid. I just do it sort of haphazardly. I want to make sure that I'm covering everything. You can kind of see the art masking fluid peeking through because the masking fluid isn't absorbent like paper, so that ink just rolls right off the fluid. And then keep going. If you live in a more humid area, obviously, it's going to take a little bit longer for the art masking fluid to dry, but it is quite quick drying stuff. And I'm going to make sure that I've got some balance over here on the left to make it more of a rectangle shape. And that should be good. So once you do that, clean off your brush really well in your art water. It's going to turn pure black if you use Sumi ink like I did. And then wait for your Sumi ink to dry. After anywhere from 10 to 40 minutes, your ink or your paint will be dry. And I like to test that just by putting my hand over it, seeing if I'm getting any ink or paint on my hand. No, so this is dry. And what you can do, I find it's just easier to rub the fluid off. So just use your finger and it will come off like little spider webs. And it has this really neat look because you've got this avocado green on the outside. The whole envelope is avocado green. And then so is the calligraphy without having been written using any avocado green ink. So it has just this really neat sort of sheen to it. And once you've got your art masking fluid off, you can complete the look by applying some stamps that go with the colors that you chose to use. So in this case, I've got some black here for the black ink. I've got some green in here just to tie into the envelope, and then a simple green stamp here. If this were a real address that I was sending to, I would also add a contemporary forever stamp. So I would meet the postage requirement, but this is sort of the color scheme that I would go for with this type of envelope. Okay, easy peasy. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial over how to use masking fluid to make really cool calligraphy. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.